Welcome back, everyone. We are now 3 months away from the opening of free agency, and while that may seem like an eternity yet, for a team in desperate need of a rehaul like the Lakers, they need to be preparing for it. Because unlike a few other teams, they do not have the luxury of having much money to spend, which will only make it harder for them to significantly improve their team. Believe it or not, from only the contracts of LeBron, AD, and Westbrook alone, they are already over the projected 2022 NBA salary cap. And while it's probably unlikely that Westbrook will be on their team next season, it's not like they can simply make his contract disappear, even though I do admit that would be great. I've mentioned this before, but the only real option they have to free up salary cap room in a trade involving Westbrook is by dealing him, along with draft compensation, to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which could potentially happen, but it's far from a guarantee. And with that in mind, they will have to approach free agency with the idea of having a very small amount of spending power. And when I say a very small amount, I mean it. Again, unless they would trade Westbrook to the Thunder, the Lakers will be looking at having only the taxpayer mid-level exception worth a little over $6 million, and then only minimum level contracts to work with. So to help give you an idea of who they could even target with that amount of money, in today's video, we are going to be looking at 5 bargain free agents for them to keep in mind. I did not include any free agents who are projected to earn much more than around $5 million per year, and be sure to keep that in mind while watching the video. But without further ado, let's dive into the video, and coming in at number 1, we have former NBA bubble legend Danuel House. And well, if you know, you know. All joking aside here though, Danuel House would actually be a great 3-and-D option for them to target for cheap. He had kind of been blacklisted by teams following the NBA bubble, and he really struggled to remain on a team ever since. During the past year alone, he has now played for 3 different teams. He was waived by the Houston Rockets early in the year, picked up by the New York Knicks only to end up playing 1 game, and then finally landed with the Utah Jazz. But ever since being picked up by Utah, he has really played well. In 25 total games played for them, he averaged a little under 7 points per game and shot over 41% from the 3-point line in under 20 minutes per game. And most importantly, he once again proved to be a quality 3-and-D player. Immediately upon joining them, he became one of their better perimeter defenders. Now, he will never be referred to as a lockdown defender, but he is definitely above average, and for a guy who could probably be had for around a minimum level contract, you can't ask for much more than that. Now moving on to free agent number 2 though, and here we have Juan Toscano Anderson. After falling out of the Warriors' main rotation a couple of months ago, his value has begun trending downward. Between the return of Klay Thompson, the emergence of Gary Payton II, and an overall decline in production, Toscano Anderson really lost a lot of money. Had he been an unrestricted free agent last year, he likely would be making between $5 and $10 million right now, and while that is unfortunate for him, it could give a financially burdened team like the Lakers a great opportunity. Because following his drop-off in production, I cannot imagine that he will be getting offered much more than a minimum contract. I could maybe see him getting offered a biannual exception, but not much more than that. However, that does not mean he is a bad player. He is simply a case of being on a team loaded with talent, and because of it, he did not get much of an opportunity to shine. But if how he played last season can tell us anything, Juan Toscano Anderson would be a great bargain option. He was a terrific defender for Golden State, along with being a good 3-point shooter too. In my opinion, he would be the perfect addition for a contending team looking for more forward depth, and if that does not perfectly describe the Lakers, then I don't know what does. Now moving on to free agent number 3 though, and here we have Javon Carter. I wanted to get one player at nearly every position in this video, and there may not be a better bargain point guard option than Javon Carter. He honestly might be playing himself into a bigger contract with Milwaukee right now, but due to being a bit undersized, he continues to be overlooked. Although, even though he does lack a little bit of height for a point guard, that should not lead you into thinking that he is a bad defender, because that would be the complete opposite of the truth. Carter is one of the better defensive backup point guards in the entire league, and not only that, but he is a pretty good offensive player too. He is not really a true point guard who can run an offense, but he is more than capable of being a secondary playmaker, and most importantly, he can play off the ball too. He is a very good three-point shooter, currently owning a career 38.3% mark from beyond the arc, and believe it or not, he actually shot over 55% from the three-point line this season with Milwaukee. Now, it was only in 20 total games, but it's a good indicator of his shooting ability, and when you combine that with his good defense, I think he would make for a great option. Now moving on to free agent number 4 though, and here we have former Laker Damian Jones, a highly requested player to bring back by Laker fans. I feel like it would be hard to deny him not being a good option. He is a good rim protector, a good rebounder, he runs the floor, and damn it, he even added a three-point shot to his game now too. If you are a long-term viewer of my channel, then you might remember me being high on him even before the Lakers signed him, so it's probably not that shocking to hear me being high on him once again. He flew a bit under the radar during his time in Sacramento, but it actually ended up being a good place for him to develop. He did have to fight for minutes before they got rid of Tristan Thompson, but once they finally did, Damian Jones became their most productive big after Richaun Holmes. I mean, don't get me wrong here, he is far from being the perfect player, but it's hard not to like what he can offer your team, and given his familiarity with the Lakers, that would only make him a better option. The only problem is, he may be looking for more than a minimum level contract, which could be a problem for a team like the Lakers, who only have one other contract offer that is worth more than a veteran minimum. But now moving on to our 5th and final free agent, and here we have Gorgi Jiang, another big that I've been high on for a while now. Gorgi Jiang will appear to be a great fit for their team. He not only meets the bargain criteria, but he is everything that you would want in a modern NBA big. He is a good rebounder, a decent rim protector, he runs the floor, and he is a very good three-point shooter. In fact, there were only 2 centers in the NBA who shot better from the three-point line than Gorgi did this season, with those 2 being Zeke Naji and Mike Muscala. After hearing me hype him up though, you might be wondering why he will be available for cheap, and well, it's because the Atlanta Hawks barely ever played him. Due to having 3 bigs ahead of him in their rotation, Gorgi Jiang barely got any playing time. He averaged under 9 minutes played per game, and he often found himself not even getting off the bench. And because of that, he will likely fly under the radar during free agency. But in my opinion, he would be a great option for the Lakers to target, especially if they are unable to add a guy like Damian Jones. With all of that being said though, that will conclude my thoughts on 5 bargain free agents for the Lakers to go after. And what do you guys think? Which of the 5 was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.